think you start to build strength. It's the only way you can survive. I believe in the same with parenthood as well. Like you don't actually plan a lot of times. You just become parents, right?
Director of the other office. I'm starting new. I'm happy to collaborate. I'm open to it. The first thing you told me was to sure.
Oh shit.
Hello and welcome to Arum Talks, where we talk about business,
Mindset and stories. And today, who do we have, Anna?
Today we have Nish. And what were you saying? How are you going to start today for Nish?
Nish Party Squad.
Yes.
The Party Squad. Nish, tell us about that. First of all, thank you for coming.
No, thank you for having me, guys. I mean, I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
this because there's a lot of podcasts, of course, that's happening around us.
Yes.
But it's like nobody has time for each other. So this is like, I really appreciate this because this is a new style of doing things. We're not talking about business. We're not talking about selling something. We're talking about each other.
That's true.
And
There's been too much hard sell in the market anyways.
100%. And before coming here, I was thinking it's better off actually just sort of really having a chat before.
Yeah.
And really connecting with each other rather than just sort of, talking
Absolutely.
to people about what we do.
Yeah.
But I'm
Absolutely.
glad what you guys are doing, So
Thank you
that's
very
really looking
Thank
forward
you.
to
Much
that.
But that was all our idea as well. Look, we did not want to talk about, because we're from real estate as well.
Absolutely.
Everybody's talking about real estate.
That's
Everybody's
right,
talking
that's
about finance.
By now.
By now.
This is the best time to get
That's right.
They were like, look, let's just talk about stories. Let's just talk, because
Let's talk about
everybody
people,
has a
yeah,
story.
of
And
course.
even when we were arranging a little bit of, the setup, first we were like, okay, let's put up mics and everything. And then we were like, just forget it. Let's just talk. Let's just talk,
Yeah. Let's not make it
now-
formal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now that he said party squad, I'm keen. Tell me.
So yeah, I was just talking to you behind the scenes, of course, then that you've been to one of our events,
Yes.
right? And I'm glad to hear that, like, because that's what we have been doing for a very long time now.
Right.
So Party Squad, before even came into existence in 2016 as a company, I started organizing just events when I was in uni. I was at Deakin, and it was in 2013. So now it's been
You're from Deakin as
10
well?
Yes, and from this campus.
Deakin.
Okay.
Burwood?
So, yes.
Same.
Yes. So I've lived in the southeast all my life as
Same.
well. So it's been very different things for me coming out this side, west and everything.
I can feel you
Don't
so
say-
much,
don't
Nish.
start. I've been hearing that every single day since she moved in.
I used to live in Mount Beverly and I loved that area.
Yeah, and that is like like it's green. It's
is
like
green,
it's
yeah.
so good.
know.
I mean, and it's not just about green. It's more about it's lively.
And you
Right.
feel like
It
you're
is.
in Australia.
Chadston,
Everything
exactly.
looks
Like
like-
imagine those.
On this side, everything looks like very.
But as a first home buyer myself,
Yeah.
I'm glad closer to city. This was the only
Yes.
area which I could afford.
Yeah.
400%.
I'm not gonna tell that people, oh, go there, go here.
No bragging,
Where
of course.
you can actually make your decision as a person who needs to be going somewhere from your
Yes.
work, from the places where your kids may be wanting to
Yeah.
go, and
Yeah.
so you got to choose wisely.
Absolutely.
And once you've gone into the first home, go wherever for your second one investment and
100%.
second house.
Yeah.
So
But
so I've
your
learned that.
heart is always in the southeast when you've lived there.
Tell
and
me about
imagine,
it.
Started in
and imagine when we got married,
Yeah.
we lived in Murrambina, which was like 5 minutes from Chadston.
Everything
and
is
we
so
used to go to
close.
Chadston gym, and now I have to go. Like, no offense, like,
To be honest, I never liked living in Murrambina.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
Number one, too much traffic. Too
Yeah,
much traffic.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Number
wouldn't,
two, I felt like I'm living in a bazaar. You know what I mean?
A very small houses,
Yeah.
of course. Yep.
So for me, yes, the area, the overall, the southeast, I still love it. I
Agree,
like it.
agree.
But that specific pocket, I feel like, come
hey, you will never
I actually-
understand.
I
You
actually
lived there
got
for 6 months. We have lived there for long.
At least 10 years, if not less. 2008
Oh, wow.
till 2019, so 11 years. And in 2020, literally 2020, I moved here just before COVID. So it was like a literal like
Culture
dessert.
shock.
Yeah.
Yes, I
And
got
then that's
that
when
too.
I started. So 11, 12 years almost living in the southeast, right? Sort of kind of growing up when you were 18 and
Yeah.
like
Oh,
sort of
yeah,
thing.
100%. But look,
And it's hard to sort of, but then I didn't want it to move to where all my friends have moved to, like Clyde, Officer, all those areas.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I had to be in the city because of Party Squad,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Nah, fair
So
enough,
I know every event has to be somewhere in the city, which
Yeah.
I know somehow, right? Because all
Yeah.
my audience is like scattered everywhere. It has to be
In the
somewhere in the
city.
middle where everyone can come.
Absolutely.
Right? So that happened so from Deakin, I was talking about how we started organizing events, sort of calling people, some other universities as well. Then we'd be like, okay, let's do some a lovely sort of live event where it's more like connecting Melbourne and Mumbai kind of thing. That was the first event that we did.
Okay.
Right, so we like Mumbai being a Bollywood kind of thing, and then Melbourne being English. So we had two levels. One was like English songs, and the other one was Bollywood songs. So we're
Hey,
just trying to
that's-
figure
that's
out how to get
creative.
in the market. one of my mates who's also in real estate, we started this together. And then somehow that became okay. We were loving it. We just made some money as well. We're like, okay, this seems very interesting. At the same time, we were still working on some acting projects. So through, so I had started my own first song. So I was waiting for that, and then worked on a few sort of short films as well. So this all was happening together. Literally, me while I was at uni. And I was like, I really want to do this. My passion. I want to get it, done.
That's amazing.
And that kind of, put a seed together for Party Squad. Party Squad, where we call it, it's not just an event company. It's an entertainment company. I like the company name is Party Squad Entertainment.
Yep.
And it actually does events and also sort of film production and stuff like that.
Oh, that's lovely.
We've done a lot of sort of music videos and things that.
I know you don't know Anna's background.
Okay.
She's a filmmaker, a producer, and director.
I had a production house in
And she had a
Pakistan.
production house as well.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
And then my mother said, I have a wish that you would do your master's. And I was sent to Deakin.
Okay. So what did you study in masters?
I did my communications, mass comm, and majoring in marketing and film in Deakin.
Awesome.
And my bachelor's is in film and television from Malaysia.
Okay.
Yes.
So there
So-
first, then here.
Yes.
And you lived pretty much as a kid in.
I mean, now you know why I married her.
And this whole thing is coming. The mind behind the whole thing is coming. Okay, now that's awesome.
What is this now? You know I am married.
You gotta tell the backstory,
And you gotta have an intelligent person right next to you, right? So that's another
Thank
thing.
you.
Yeah.
But Nish, now that you talk about Party Squad, before I come to your other business,
Sure.
As a student, I'm sure it was fun and party, and it was all that happening things. But when it actually became a company, I'm sure you must have gone through some stressful nights.
Oh well.
Some struggles.
I feel like arranging events, it's not easy.
No, of course
It's
not.
not easy.
Of course not.
I mean,
Bringing people together
oh my God.
is the hardest thing. So
Really?
imagine one person, you had to sort of confirm 3 times, you're coming this time, schedule this thing. I can't actually ask people to sort of put it in your calendar. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like it's not that
Yes.
easy. So imagine bringing 300, 400, 1,500 people as well. So we've done that as well, right? That together, it does need a lot of work. It does need going into sort of TV shows and stuff like that. So I've been doing this for a while now. So going to anything public radio, sort of, anything which has been here. So I've been to those places, put ads in different places, gone through Facebook, Instagram, and also personally talking to a lot of people. So I do remember all those sleepless nights. I do remember thinking about it because I put my money into the place,
Yes.
So it's not just about creating an event. Now that you started bringing stars from overseas, I've actually got from Pakistan Bilal Saeed as well.
Oh, that was you?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. So that was not this one, the one before, which was in
Okay.
2017.
Okay.
All right.
Right, so that was in track. And that's the first time I realized as a Pakistani audience, right, that they don't drink. Like I honestly had so many friends, but I didn't know. When you're in college, it's not such thing. But when you go out of college, you realize people actually have a different ways of doing things, right?
Yes.
So they don't drink, and we were doing it at a nightclub. So the audience would have been mostly, mostly Pakistani audience or perhaps Indian audience,
Who
right?
don't drink.
Who don't drink. So then what's the point of them getting to the club? It would have been an outside show. That's the reason why they did outside show this year.
Yes.
Last year,
Right.
basically,
Yeah.
right?
Last year as well.
So, I mean, you've learned from these mistakes. I've been doing them for so long, but that's where I can say, and I called myself an excellent entrepreneur because it just happened to be. I had no interest in becoming an event organizer. I was more related to this artist side of things, right? Because I'm an artist myself. I was like, I would rather want to just bring these artists, collaborate with them. And then, of course, while they're here, they might as well just promote the event because they can actually do the show.
Yeah.
People come and see them. But when I started working with artists and it realized that, for you to collaborate with them, you need to be with them at par. Like they won't just collaborate with somebody new.
Yeah.
And you still end up paying them and making their show hit. You work really hard, and then you're not recognized either way. It doesn't matter. Like you're not the one who's getting highlighted. It's the artist.
An entrepreneur is never highlighted.
So that's exactly where the journey has been. Sleepless nights, of course, but profit making was never the point. Point was to actually sort of really have myself as an artist sort of work together. I've done a lot of for other event organizers, I've actually performed for their opening act for the artist as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this was something that you were doing not because of money.
Exactly.
That was-
Exactly. Never
You
asked.
were doing
never,
this because
yeah.
you had passion for it.
Yeah,
You wanted
yeah,
to do
yeah.
this.
And I still do that
Yeah.
without money. Like I still do MCs for a lot of people. I still do a lot of things because I personally, as an artist, right, I don't like putting a price tag to things.
To
Yeah.
creativity.
Right? To be like, okay, I
yes.
really want to create something and I'll do it.
Yeah.
But that's when I realized, okay, look, it's just taking a lot of my money and time, and it's not really resulting into
Yeah,
anything
fair
where I could have done a lot more, which is filmmaking is real passion for me. Like
Yeah.
I would want to be a part of a filmmaking thing, not behind the camera. I'm not good at that. I wish I could say that, but I'm not good at that part. I'm
Yeah.
more really good at like either acting or perhaps creating something interesting.
Yeah.
So there was exactly in 2014 when I started working on these events and other things. There was a Bangladeshi friend of mine who was the director of a student film as well.
Right.
Okay.
And he came up with a script to me and be like, okay, I'll do it. I really want to do it, basically, you know.
Yeah.
At that time, I just put myself on Star Now, so it was a lot of things connecting together.
Right.
When he approached me, he gave me the script. We gone through the script so many times with the other actors that I had actually been able to sort of tell him to add a few things.
Right.
So if you go and watch this short film, it's on my YouTube channel. It's called I'm in Love. You will realize there's something called SPS, right? And we are talking short, brown, and sexy, which is like, let's say I am, right?
Yeah.
So this was just a way it was added. Like, you know, so basically
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say is I can create something impromptu.
Yep, yep.
I can do dance, I can do music, I can do other things, but I can't do behind the camera. And I'm looking for a team, and I've been still looking for a team to work together so we can make great films in Australia.
Yeah.
I don't think there's one which is I can be proud of, or perhaps
No.
I've seen a lot of films, and trust me, once you watch this I'm in Love, you will be like, and we're talking 10 years from now. So like
Yeah.
10 years
Yeah,
ago,
yeah,
we
yeah.
created something was so good,
Yeah.
and he's still working in the same industry. I am still working in the same industry.
Yeah.
We've still not been able to
Yeah.
create something similar, right? And forget about short film. We still wanting to work on a feature film because now that's
Yeah.
the one which makes money,
That's
right?
the one which
or
makes
either web
money.
series.
And like you said, you know, passion and all is there, but you got to make money.
You gotta make money, man. Like that's what I tell everybody. Like, trust me, I'm so much inspired by Shah Rukh. When people say, you know, you're working for passion and stuff, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like you can think about it, but the real
Absolutely.
thing is you have to do those ads to make money where people don't
100%,
like
you
it.
gotta make money.
You have to work.
And that's when the other day he was listening to Shah Rukh's interview and he sent me, you know, it's ironic you talk about it. And in that interview, he says like, I don't want to be poor. I don't want to enjoy the poor things.
That's
I
right.
did not work my ass
Yeah,
off.
it's like I didn't work my ass off all these years
That's right.
to enjoy those normal things. I don't want to enjoy this.
Exactly. When you work hard, you would want to really pleasure yourself as well, you know. So and that's what it is. Like that's how it all started. So when it became the company,
Yeah.
I paid money, and then I had to work so hard to bring people to at least break even.
Yes.
And when I was like, why am I breaking even? Like I need to work hard. So again, a lot of companies at the beginning don't go profit straight away.
100%.
That's normal. That's given. But you know, you really want to bring things together, people together. That could be smart and still make profit.
And
you know?
but Nish, like, you know how people think now that you have a company.
Yeah.
You know, it's all party and it's the party squad and you're always partying. It's so cool. Tell me, was there a time when this company was there? And, you know, like in our other shows also, we said the entrepreneur's journey is always lonely. So was there a time when you're like, I'm done. I want to give up.
Because the facade doesn't look like that, you know.
Of course.
Especially in the events business or the entertainment
Media.
business, the facade or the media, the facade looks very hyped up,
Glamorous.
partying,
Of
course,
glamorous.
glamorous, yeah,
You've
yeah,
got people around you.
Tell me the inside story because I want to know
Yeah.
if somebody's watching you and if they're on that same journey, they should know that there's a time when everyone has those moments.
Agree. And true, giving up is so easy. Like, you know, and that's the first thought you would get
Absolutely.
when you're dying, kind of thing. Like, you know,
Yeah.
as an entrepreneur, you're dying every day. Right?
Absolutely.
So you feel like,
Right
man,
on
it could have been so much easier. I would have had a job. I wouldn't have to think outside 5 p.m.
Yes.
Right? Forget about everything else. I would have woken up at 9 a.m. but still started at 11 a.m.
I know.
Right?
work
You know,
from
all
home.
that sort of relaxed life. Here, I'm
Yeah.
answering calls 24/7. That's always a feel, basically. But that's when you feel that as an entrepreneur, I actually decide when I want to make money. I decide when I want to take time off. I decide when to actually be strict on like staff and when not to be strict on staff. So like all those things, right?
And how much money I want to make.
Yeah. So like you set a goal and you work towards it, right? And then if you don't want to set a goal, that's fine as well. Like, you know, if you want to keep it relaxed, you can. But then again, your family, other things are your responsibility. So entrepreneurship can actually get you that extra dollars that you'll never be able to do it as a person who's working just 9 to 5 or any job.
Yeah.
Right, and being a student, of course, all of us has done odd hours, right? Like
Absolutely.
overnight shifts and all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
So being there, done that, I would never regret what I'm doing right now. Do you know what I mean? Like even it's not about money only. It's more about okay, I can choose when I want to work, and you know, like I can start early morning because I know every time and every hour that adds extra to my time actually gives me more dollars as well, right? Right.
So you have that freedom as well. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. And look, every day, it's not just about quitting. Every day I feel like I'm actually broke. You know, like it's more about that. I'm like, more bills, more subscriptions, more bills, more people to pay for. But then as well, like, you know, it feels like, again, the next day invoice got cleared. I'm like, thank God.
Yes.
Like, you know, it's not about my hard work. It's actually somebody with me.
It's like every entrepreneur's life story. Every day it feels broken. People around you are like, man, you're making so much. Bro, you have no idea.
You got no idea, man. You got
the
no
amount
idea.
of subscriptions we need to
Exactly. The amount of things that we're paying, the amount of invoices.
How did Credimax came into play?
Very interesting that as well, because I was working at the
like
bank full time.
different.
Yeah, totally different. Again, entertainment for people who wants to quit. I would say not to quit, but entertainment doesn't make money, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yes.
make money until either you are in the industry. So call it, let's say, perhaps Bollywood, Hollywood. You have to be in it.
Yeah.
You can't be becoming, for example, there's a lot of celebrities, Nicole Kidman from Australia. So there could be a lot of other celebrities. I'm just trying to think, right? They haven't become celebrities here. They had to go there. They had to work on those industry. So that's when I realized I'm like, either I go there, either I go in the Bollywood, basically simple as that, like in Mumbai, or here, if I really want to work, it has to be sort of like something else, which pays the bills. Simple as that. Even pays the bills for Party Squad.
Yeah.
Because there's so many outstanding bills.
Because the Party Squad is not paying there.
It doesn't. It would never, because trust me, one event could have great, like, you know, it could be great outcomes, right?
Yeah.
But then the rest 11 events for the entire year could actually be turning other way around.
Right.
That's when you need someone professional as well alongside you, two people working together where you can hire as a staff. But like, you know, even they need to be paid salary.
100%.
So there's so many things for you trying to sort of figuring out how to make this work, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then comes a new technology, a new advancement, etc. You know, like, and then comes COVID.
Yeah.
So imagine nothing is guaranteed.
Absolutely.
COVID, you
nothing.
Like totally shut down.
Yeah, and even at that
You
time,
can't run virtual events. Can you?
I did actually.
I did you?
So we were doing that as well. So see, that's what it is. Like the brain is always working. You can't stop your brain working. Because somebody was just, because we post in different groups and stuff.
Right.
So somebody just accepted Indian Events in Australia, something like that as a group. They accepted one of my posts, which was sitting there from COVID, which they accepted today. And I was realized, oh, wow, we did something like this. So we were having sort of kid DJs, small DJs who wants to show their passion.
Yeah.
Being Facebook Live or Instagram Live.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right? So
Okay.
imagine that, and still showing it to our audience, because ultimately our audience is still on social media.
Yeah, 100%.
And then we had email database, so we were still doing that. And it was still, like, to be honest, it was still going well in terms of people were adding on, because we were still doing this on Friday and Saturdays, like either one day or something like that, and people still wanted to party.
Yeah, 100%.
They could have played their own music, but they, you know, when we're promoting such young talents, who are just, let's say,
It's
10,
such a-
12,
such a good
14 years.
idea.
Yeah. So they would want to listen to them as well, and then, you know, something
100%.
different. And they were doing really well. However, until this is played live, that's okay. Later on, copyright issues comes from Facebook, and also not all of these things are an assets to us. So they just mute those musics and stuff like that. But always been, again, like I said, it's always been an interesting journey. People loved it when we were in COVID as well.
Yep.
Straight after COVID, we started doing that again. But during COVID, I'll tell you one thing which really worked well for us was a family event, which I never thought of beforehand.
Yeah.
So family event, especially New Year's Eve, that was the only night when people they were opening up for people.
Yeah.
They didn't let that
Yeah.
sort of closing
Yeah.
thing, right? And then we had 500 to 600 people coming to Point Cook for attending that family New Year Eve event, right?
Wow.
500 to 600 people. So I was like, I've never had that many people, like not even in a
In a
clubbing
normal
thing.
event.
Yeah.
But here you're having it with the family, because kids and family, they really want to go out and enjoy.
Yeah.
And that turned out well. So basically, there's never going to be one format.
Nah,
You got to
it's
really
alright.
change,
Yeah.
figure out what's working, what's
Didn't hit you guys at that time? But might just do more
family events.
Yeah.
It did, but at the same time, soon as the COVID opened, people started traveling, and that's it. That's 600 people that come down to
Drop.
200-300.
So you guys did try it again.
So
as
we
well,
tried
but-
a lot of times,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And we do that, like that's what I'm saying. So during COVID, we did 2 or 3 New Year's Eve events. back to back.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it was 2020 end, then 21, 22. So all
Yeah.
three, but then the ratios kept declining because then,
Right.
it all depends because people are now going to go out to Sydney, going to go out to other countries.
So
you
they
know,
started traveling, they started going out here and
that's
there.
it. So there is no, again,
So
set
tell me,
rules.
how did Credit Max came in?
Yeah, so Credit Max literally started during COVID.
Okay.
I had left my job and kind of got fired from my job, to be very honest, because I left one job for going to another job.
Okay.
The other job was really far. I was going back to Southeast again,
Right.
traveling from here.
Yep.
Wasn't going in time and stuff like that. It was in a different industry altogether. So from banking, I was going into insurance, just for getting extra money, sort of thing. Right?
Okay.
But I'm like, I'm going traveling for 1.5 hours, going to Mulgrave from this side, right?
And that's far.
That's far,
See,
right?
see, that's what I wanted to know, because now a lot of people would think you have this company or you had that event company, you didn't have to do anything. You had
Oh,
jobs.
man.
You
Yes,
were.
yes. So I had full-time banking jobs for a very long time, right?
Okay.
So when I say a very long time is when I started studying finance at
Yeah.
Deakin. I started working part-time in banks. So
Right.
started with GE, which is called Latitude now.
Yeah.
Then soon as I graduated, I went full-time at NAB. Worked
Okay.
pretty much 5 years at NAB just before I left NAB to get into a better job sort of thing at an IAG. It's an Insurance Australia group.
Yep.
It's in Mulgrave, and that's when I was like, oh, man, one thing, I'm not doing the right thing because I'm changing the industry altogether.
Altogether. Yeah.
Second, traveling that far just didn't make sense just for some extra dollars. I was like, man, this
You're
just,
spending those extra dollars and time.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and then that's when I realized the traffic is the west side as well. Like we used to think that the traffic is there. We get traffic pretty much when trying to reach at
Yes.
9 o'clock. You would
Oh
never
my
be able
God,
to reach at
that's a
9 o'clock when you have that Westgate Bridge in the.
Definitely.
That Westgate is a nightmare.
So that's it. So that's when I'm like, man, I don't think I can do it. Literally 1 month, got fired from there because I was like, I'm done. And that's when like I traveled. To be honest, I love traveling so much that I'm like, just whenever I feel like I'm stressing out and I'm not
Yeah.
really doing much, I just travel.
Oh man, we do the same thing.
That's your
Yeah.
de-stress.
I don't think that's the only thing which you can think of, like
Yeah.
at
Can't
least
stop
yeah,
that.
yeah. So that's when I to sort of switch off and then switch on again.
Yeah.
I did that. I went overseas back home. Sort of love going back to mum at any of these time, even though she doesn't need to know anything about it. But went there, just came back, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna start my own business in banking only because that's what I know.
Yes.
Right. Started studying a course which I wanted to do for 2-3 years now. I've never been able to do. Mortgage broking course.
Yep.
I just did it in like 1 week during COVID. So as soon as I came back,
Yeah.
COVID started.
Okay.
COVID started. You didn't have any other option basically. You were like,
Right.
okay, well then you're stuck.
Let me
You
just
can't
study.
earn anything. Might as well, yeah. So I actually came back thinking I'm gonna go full time into Party Squad. I'm gonna start organizing events full time. I'm gonna really do it every
And then
weekend.
just COVID hit.
COVID hits, like you can plan a lot you want to, and I'm like, then second option I have was probably banking, which I've done all my life, finance. Let's start studying. So for 4-5 months, I just sat there, study, understood all the banks because as a broker, you don't actually just study and get started.
Yeah.
You got to really understand every bank. So earlier, I only had knowledge about one bank, worked in one
Right.
bank, right? Or
Right.
perhaps two when I was
Yeah.
before that. But I started then understanding every bank and their niches, which is what they can
Yeah.
provide better or not.
Basically every lender.
That's it. You have
Yeah,
to. You
yeah,
got to. We got to
private
really
lender
know
as
where
well.
and where they
Yeah.
can help this client because as a broker, you're a solution provider.
Yes.
Bank is just giving you one answer or one solution to anything
Yes,
that you
that's
have.
true, yeah.
Absolutely.
Whatever product they have, basically they're selling it. But on the other side, as a broker, you are comparing things. You're giving them everything in under one roof.
Yeah.
And that's what I had to learn because if I don't know it, if I didn't get my own house from myself, kind of thing, right? If I
Yeah.
haven't gone through that journey, I couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
All that happened through the same time. So during COVID, I started working towards getting my own house first. Before this, because of Party Squad, never had savings, never knew what I had to do with the money that left over,
Yeah.
and never knew what I'm gonna do with, like, in terms of business point of view, right?
Yeah.
Here, I was starting up a business again, right, from
Yeah.
scratch. I was getting my first house at the same time as well.
Oh, wow.
Luckily, COVID helped as well because then government was supporting,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So because I was jobless and all that sort of stuff, and I would say blessings in disguise because a lot of things happened in right place. 2020 didn't make money, 0. 2021 started making good because now I knew the knowledge. I had
Yeah.
clients. I had started advertising. and happened to be, again, luck, I would say. I would say as much as hard work, but you can only do so much of hard work as well, right? You can't be working 24 hours. You only have...
And without hard work,
yeah.
nothing happens. You know?
Yeah. So then, but when you start putting yourself out there, because I've been good at marketing because of events. So I started putting things out there that, you know, we do this well, or we can do asset finance, and, you know, we can do other things.
Yeah.
Started putting videos out there. Then all of my audience, which was already with the Party Squad thing, started connecting here. Right. So it's like cross collaboration.
Do you think it made it easier? Not easier, but comparatively easier?
I would say that.
You had already had that audience.
Absolutely.
So that helped.
Because I had never run ads.
Yeah.
A lot of people do ads and you know, do Facebook ads and all that sort of stuff. I didn't do that. I genuinely would say that I didn't do advertising until last year, when the market interest rates started going up. Because at that time I was just starting up, right?
Yeah.
I only needed 1 or 2 clients to just do really whatever I can to put all the efforts into that. Did that, really fought for them, really fought for, you know, getting things approved and stuff, getting them to settlement, because we don't get paid if you don't settle, right?
Absolutely.
So all that like was a good learning for me. It was just few first cases. Then from one goes to the other, people started sort of, you know,
How
like
was the
good
feeling with the
reviews.
first client?
Tough, because you don't get the easy clients, right?
Never.
You get those clients which are like, you know, just sort of roaming around, which haven't been able to get it from anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And trust me, I still get them. Very often of my clients are the same, because I love to take a challenge.
Look, you're gonna get them in the future as well.
Of course, and it's only getting harder. It's not getting easier.
Yeah.
Getting a loan approved is not getting any easier, right? With the interest
Absolutely.
rates, with people missing on their repayments, with everything going wrong in the economy, it's not getting
But
any
it's a
easier.
good feeling when you help someone, right?
100%, 100%.
I mean, when
and
you know.
I claim that with all the reviews that I have on my, you know, Google pages and Facebook and all. Just because it's not about, for me, it's not about getting like those 500 loans approved that I must have done until now, but it's about those 100 reviews which I got automatically, which people are like really thanking in a very detail. When I see that review coming up, I'm like, man, this is like,
Makes
you know,
you heartful.
yeah, because that's, you can go back and, you know, look at that, and
You've
those
done
are
a
the
good
people who
job.
come back and send their families and friends.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's never about the journey of getting one loan approved. It's more about like, you know, they become family to you.
Yes.
Right?
So
Everything.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
In our business, what we say is, look, we are not here for transactions. We are here to build relations.
That's it. That's
And
it.
absolutely, I mean, I think when you go back, there's always social media now. There's so many, you know, platforms for marketing and everything. But I think being old school, word of mouth is the best
Still works.
marketing.
Trust me, still works.
Absolutely. It has not
None
gone out
of
of
the
date.
ads, even though I'm telling you I've started working on ads last year, didn't work.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to say, because you're still getting the same clients
Yes.
through that as well, because they are the one who are free.
Yes.
You know,
And plus those-
they're the one who's sitting on the Facebook, not doing much work. Hence the reason why they're just clicking on every ad.
Oh my God. You know what? Australia has the highest amount of numbers of people who click on ads.
And I think 50% of them probably be fake, or probably 70% of them is fake.
Oh, really?
America is like 51 or something percent, or 52%.
Right.
Australia is on 80-90%.
Crazy.
It's like the highest in the world.
Really?
You know, the amount of people who actually engage
Just
and
click on it.
your ad.
Yeah.
It's the
Wow.
highest.
And I'm not gonna lie, I do this myself. Like, you know, everything I see interesting, I just go click it, and then I'm not able to answer the calls, because it's not easy. Like, you know, when you're busy, you can't really see it. When you're scrolling through your Facebook and Instagrams and everything.
Sometimes you're busy, sometimes you ignore it. Because
Yeah.
you know you just did it just for Because I do it as well. Like sometimes I like it.
There you go. That's how 80% is made.
Sometimes, look, I look at my.
But it does cost people. Like those people who are
does,
running that ad, it costs them a lot.
100%.
Yeah.
Because it costs us as well.
Yeah.
We've been running meta ads.
Yeah. So it does cost us a lot. And that's when, you know, like you realize that Facebook and these ads don't work that well, that your word of mouth does.
Yes.
100%. Number one, it's free. Number two, if it's coming from word of mouth, from referrals, those clients are already been sold.
Absolutely.
I mean, they know they want to come to
That's
you.
right,
They know
that's right.
you don't have to do all that follow-ups, that
Correct.
warming up the lead.
And they're
all
not
that.
talking to 5 other people.
That's correct.
Because if they're talking, they're all getting different information.
100%.
Yes.
For you to be committed, you won't want them to be committed as well. Like, you know, that's when you work
It's a
hard
two-way.
for them
Absolutely.
and that's the only thing. So
I'm going to stop again. You know, when Arshak sits with anyone who's from real estate background or anything, he just finance, he'll just go and he'll be like, okay, let me just... Coming back to your mindset, okay? Tell me, now that you have 2 businesses, right? A lot of stress, multiple sleepless nights now, more than there were in student life.
never ending. No, trust me. It only gets worse, because having multiple business means you got to think about each one of them. Each one of them is your baby. You can't be thinking less about one or the other about the other one, you know. So
How do
even
you,
though the other one makes more money,
I
Yes.
can totally relate to that. We started one, we were like, that's our baby. Now then we
Trust
started
me,
Arum, we were like,
man.
that's our baby as well.
Yeah.
Now we've got twins.
yeah, that's it.
how do you cope up with all the stress that comes your way?
I think you start to build strength. Like it's the only way you can survive. Like
Yeah.
that's I believe in the same with parenthood as well. Like you don't actually plan a lot of times. You just become parents, right?
Yeah,
The
that's
same
true.
way you only get strength from these things because you
Yeah.
cannot ignore something. Trust me, a lot of people, especially staff, when I come to say like I really want to, like, you know, with anything I could, I would want to talk to and understand staff mindset as well, when they can ignore so easily where a boss cannot, right? Because
Yeah.
he's the one who's actually putting not just money but their sweat as well in that business, right?
Exactly.
So
And
same
your
thing.
name is on the line.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and trust me, like as much as we work with everybody else, you just want to understand like how when you put somebody, a person who's the manager there, for example,
Yep.
when you put somebody else's that
Yeah.
okay, look after my kid, the same thing again. They would not look after your kid
100%.
the way you would, right?
Absolutely.
And it comes down to the same. You only build strength. You only start to add more time in your schedule. You start to forget about going to parties, right? You start to forget about
There
going
is no party squad again.
and that's what I'm saying. So I don't go to parties as much as my brother does now, right? So my
Yes.
brother is the one who looks after the event side of things. I would not go to those things
Yeah.
because I have literally 6 days to work on those things. What's going to happen that time,
Yeah.
right? Even having the staff, you got to work double the time because you got to
100%.
explain them, still do what you need to do.
Right.
And in each of my business, I don't have just one or two. I've got at least 5 or 6 staff in each of them, right? So
Yeah.
5 or 6, and then under them they've got few people as well. So it just gets harder and harder because I've always wanted to sort of thought like if I'm becoming an entrepreneur now, which have like, you know, became an accidental
Yeah.
thing, have to be big, right? Have to be something like, you know, it's bigger companies where there's multiple staff. But now what I'm learning from the last 1 or 2 years is how to manage those people, not just how to manage the business, right? That's the toughest gig.
People management skill is just
yeah.
something
So
that
every year, it's just getting a learning experience more than
Yes.
anything else. A more strong experience, how to become stronger.
Yep.
And stronger is not just because you can learn something, but you got to keep mindset. You got to probably see if you can, and some people can't, because I tell my wife as well to do yoga and meditation. She could just never do it. But that just gives you one strength.
Yes.
Going to gym gives you
Yeah.
second. Third, doing something for your passion.
health.
So my whole part, so health is coming from those two, right? But if you're doing something what you love, is always going to keep you alive as well.
100%.
Absolutely.
That keeps
Absolutely.
you growing as well.
That's
you know,
right.
you know you can survive then.
That's it.
You know you can
That's
get this going.
Definitely.
yeah.
I mean, in all these episodes, you know, we've been talking with different people. They've been coming here. One thing that we've learned from different people is a lot of people are talking about manifestation.
Absolutely.
It really works. Working on yourself. I think nowadays
That's
what
number
people
one,
are
I think,
not
yeah.
doing is working on ourselves
100%.
because as entrepreneurs you get, or as business owners, you get so involved in business that you forget yourself.
Absolutely.
But I believe, like you said as well, yoga, meditation, all these things we take for granted.
100%.
You know,
Especially because we come from those countries where it all started,
yes,
Yeah.
right? And now that when we see white people doing it and we see other countries doing it, we're like, wow, I mean, you know, these people are actually fools. Like, you know, we've done things that they're just wanting to sort of
Yeah.
follow us. But reality is, there's only one thing in this life that actually gets us from one place to the other, is either we have a lot of time, because there's nothing apart from time that can actually replace anything, right?
Absolutely.
100%.
And the second, as you were saying, talking about manifestation, the peace is also the most important thing.
absolutely.
When we
what
get
success
busy, we forget about everything else. We're like, we don't need money, now we need peace. Right? When you have
Yes.
money, you need peace.
And
We
it-
started from peace though.
and you'll be amazed. Look, when people talk about success,
Right.
what is success to you? They talk about money and all that stuff. For me, and what I always say is, look, when you sleep
Well,
peacefully at night,
100%.
that's what success is.
Yeah, yeah.
Being
And
an
I still sleep
entrepreneur
like a
is
baby.
hard.
I'm telling you, I don't need those, you know, like because
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
exactly that sleep kills everything else.
Yeah.
Oh,
Every stress that you have, everything
Absolutely.
else,
Yeah.
like, you know.
Do you
like,
have kids?
Not yet. So I
And
think
that's how you sleep like a baby.
Man, I used to sleep like anything before having a baby.
now that you have
The
a baby.
minute he said, I sleep like a baby, I'm like, do you have kids?
No, even my baby doesn't sleep like a baby.
Of course.
Because of that, we don't sleep.
Because they sleep in daytime as well, so they don't need to sleep at night.
So you wait till your sleep
I
like a
know,
baby
I
mantra
know.
goes out of the window.
That's right. That's right.
Before we finish all this, Nesh, where do you see Party Squad after 5 or 10 years, and where do you see Pyramid? Or where do you see yourself in next basically, 5 years or
Well,
so.
a very interesting question, and that's what I used to get every time when I would interview for a job.
I know that was
Yeah.
the most common
And I'd be like, I
question.
want to be the CEO now. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like you can't. I mean, it's really hard. As much as I say it's an answer which I would want to give, I want to be like everything has to be the best of their kind. But I really want to see that every time I'm better than yesterday
Yeah.
is all what I care about. Like I really can't think of so much longer ahead with especially AI and all that's happening.
That's
I just cannot say what's going to happen to the world. Like, you know,
I like the honest answer, actually.
Genuinely, I just think if I plan, it just may not work. Or, you know,
Absolutely.
and I don't want to be like, oh, it was recorded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I really want to strive for everything I can with all the power and energy that I have.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to be like, oh, I really want to achieve this where it may be impossible. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would rather just, like I said, film is one thing, which I wouldn't want to do 5 years. I would rather do it now.
Yeah.
Right, in next 6 months or so,
Yeah.
because I have been working on it for already last 5 years.
Absolutely.
fair enough.
Absolutely.
Right, and the only thing which really can still save us in the future going ahead is working collaborations and working as teams.
110.
Because
Yes.
there's no other way that you
No.
can give
There's-
somebody a job and they will do
And
it.
there's too much in the market, you know, that everybody can share and collaborate.
Absolutely.
I've said it so many times, I still feel like I haven't said it enough, that collaboration over competition.
100%.
And we genuinely believe that.
Yeah.
Every business, whether they're doing what we are doing, we still believe, look, I've been mates and I've been collaborating with businesses who are doing exactly the same thing that we are doing.
Like real estate, for example, right? So,
And
so you've been
exactly
collaborating
the same
with
product
others.
as well.
Yeah.
We've got exactly the same client, type of client. We still collaborate.
Why
Yeah.
not?
'Cause there's more than
And that's
enough
what I
to
don't
do.
understand. Like a lot of people think that we're competition, but I think we are, but it could be a healthy competition.
100%.
You've gone through school, you've gone through college, your friends were your competition, but at the same time when you're working together, that's the only time you could actually get good grades.
Exactly.
You could actually understand from each other and pass much better.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Right? You could actually, if I know something, if I could teach you something, I'm only going to get better on my skills. as well.
100%. You
Right.
really get better once you're teaching the other person. that
Yeah,
skill
but,
as well.
Yeah.
what I see after school or after college, that people don't want to help each other. Like, you know,
Yeah.
forget about it. They just think competition is the only way and I'm going to be the best. But trust me, no one's the best.
No
No
one's
one's
the
best.
best.
And that's what the whole thing, what I found in terms of Party Squad or filmmaking, that there's a lot of people doing it, but they just don't want to talk and collaborate and work together.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a lot of people doing a lot of other things as
Same
well.
with real estate as well.
You know?
right?
Yeah.
They look at each other like enemies.
Enemies,
I'm like,
man.
come on. I
We
literally started, when I started in real estate, I won't name the company, but the company that I was working with,
Yeah.
there was another company, a well-known brand,
Yeah.
right next to our office. Their office was like literally same
Okay,
wall, yeah.
okay.
Second day or third day of my new job, new real estate career, went to the director of the other office. I'm like, mate, I'm starting new. I'm happy to collaborate. Look, I know you guys don't work together with other companies.
Of course.
I'm open to it. You have a listing, I've got a buyer, or if I've got a listing, got a buyer, instead of going after the vendor, you give me a buzz, you do it.
That's it.
No
that's
problem
it,
at all.
yeah.
I'm happy to earn $5 or $4 instead of earning $10.
Agree.
The first thing you told me was to show off.
Oh, shit.
We can't. I was like, mate.
Ah,
but
unbelievable.
that's the culture there.
Agree.
It's changing now. It's changing now. And
Especially when, you know, since the entrepreneurship has started in terms of like people start working on startups and all that,
yeah,
I think people are thinking that, you know, there's no way we can survive unless you work together. right?
Absolutely.
100%.
So I think people are now getting more educated towards actually working together and figuring out how we can do it in wholesale rather than working in, you know, retail kind of thing. as well.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that's
So
going to
Nish,
get better.
Because you came as a student, we came as students as well.
Yeah.
Before we end this, if there are students who are watching you who are in the process of becoming entrepreneurs or following passion,
Yeah.
let's give them a little advice so that they can be with us
Absolutely.
and, you know, learn something today.
Look, advice is a very strong word.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like, which we normally don't give in our profession as well. But it's more about one thing, again, like I said, do what you can in terms of if you have even 1 hour extra in your time,
Yeah.
do something which actually makes you happy. And then the second hour, if you can add to it, it's towards your passion making into money. So as much as I said entertainment doesn't make money in the past, now it does. Like if you create podcasts and marketing content for other companies, it will still make money.
100%.
Yes.
Right? So this will make money now. It didn't make in the past. So like the way that industries are changing, the companies are changing, and a lot of things are changing, right? if you could understand AI, I'm still not able to. Like if you could understand AI, this is what the young talent could do, right? They could actually change a lot of things because every new company, or I mean, every brand out there wants to learn this.
And want to integrate AI into their
I know,
their
right?
system,
And that's how it's only going to get better for them to come with technology and some sort of skill set. Go to any company you would want, talk to them because everybody would want you. Trust me, like
That is so true.
these people
100%.
will gonna need this new students. Will need them. There'll be so much more employment if only these people come with skills, not as a burden of a job.
Yeah.
Right? If they're coming and be like clocking on, oh, what do I do, boss? That's not gonna work.
Yeah.
There is no job for those
yes,
people anymore, right?
That's so true.
Basically,
There's no more jobs for those people. Trust me, I'm telling you.
now those
You
jobs
know?
are gone now.
If you're thinking, oh, where is the handover? Teach me 3 months and then I'm gone. Because new people don't want to work really anyway. They would rather be freelancing. That's what they
100%,
want.
100%.
But if you really want to work, you can actually be working for 4 or 5 different companies if you could actually take a vision to them.
And learn skills out of your, apart from
What
your
you wanna do.
university, college,
Yeah.
institution, you gotta learn something.
Because what we all really know, and this is true, right? We spend 5 hours of our day scrolling.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Instead, those 5 hours can actually make you money. This is my advice, right?
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
actually make you money. If instead of what you're scrolling, you create them for those people.
I
who
think
need them.
I'm gonna name this episode as instead of 5 hours of scrolling, make that money.
Yeah,
I,
and that's $100 an hour. I'm not even kidding. Like
Yes.
because in one day you're creating all this content, right? One day you can create 5 episodes.
Yeah.
You have those 5 episodes even for $100 an hour kind of thing. Like I'm telling you, right? That's when you do posting and all that sort of stuff. You're just done with that, Like one day you just shot them, second day you edited them, and third day you're just going around and
the whole process of creating content, every step in that process
yeah.
is a business in itself.
Absolutely,
Every step.
absolutely.
Every single step. So it's just.
And only an entrepreneur can understand this because as a job, you would be like, what's the next step? And I'm not going to teach you the next step. Like, what's the point? Because I've got so much better things to do. If I was to
Absolutely.
educate everybody out there, I would rather educate as a video to one video
Yeah,
to everybody out there,
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely. All right.
that was amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Nick. And I think
that was an advice, Nick.
In a very in a very different manner.
And,
you know, so like-
tips.
yeah, in a very different manner.
But thank
because
you for
it
coming.
wasn't for people or real estate. It was more for people to get better at it.
Yes.
For us 5-10 years ago.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And advice for us 10
Yeah,
5.
yeah.
Whenever I'm talking about something, I'm thinking about a person, about me 5 years or 10 years ago. Because
That's
there are
right.
a lot of people like you who are in the same boat, who maybe want to start something in the entertainment industry or in the media space or whatever, and they don't know what to do.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, you figured it out. Not everybody can.
And trust me, I don't think I figured it out yet as well. Like I would say that because there's so many more things to do,
100%.
I personally
Yes.
believe this is
Every
always
day is
going to
a
be just
learning curve.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't want to plan 5 years ahead. I might as well just do better than what I did
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yes.
So
No,
that's
that's
the
amazing.
only thing.
But thank you so much.
Thank you for having me,
coming,
guys. Thank
Thank
you.
It was an amazing episode.
It's been a
I love
pleasure.
that.
and take these tips. Start making $100 an hour. I'm just kidding.
Nah, look,
but
number
just
one is just start.
Just
Just start.
That's what I-
That's
just
it.
start.
That's it. That's
And
it.
we'll see you in the next episode.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you.
bye.
Should I do it again? Ciao.
No, don't.